Have you ever met someone like this? Someone gets asked out by a person who genuinely likes them. They're not interested, but instead of saying no, they just go along with it. They know, deep down, they don't have feelings for this person. And yet the relationship starts anyway. So what's really going on here? Today, we're going to dig into the psychology behind this strange contradiction. And I'll warn you right now, it's not just about being too nice. There's something a little more uncomfortable hiding underneath. Something we don't talk about enough. A quiet kind of arrogance, and what it says about how we see ourselves. Let's start with the most honest version of what's happening. When someone expresses interest in you, the straightforward response is simple. If you're into them, great. If you're not, you say so, kindly but clearly. But some people skip that second option entirely. They start a relationship with someone they're not even attracted to. And when you ask them why, the answers usually sound something like this. They're such a good person, I didn't want to hurt them. I felt bad saying no. Maybe I'll develop feelings over time. Now, on the surface, that sounds generous. It sounds like empathy. But here's the thing. It's mostly self-justification. The real reason runs a lot deeper. Here's what's actually going on beneath the surface. People who do this almost always carry an unspoken belief that they are somehow above the other person. Think about it. The fact that someone likes you becomes, in your mind, proof of your own desirability. They fell for me, which means I must have something they want. And from that position, you start to think of yourself as doing them a favor. I'll give them a chance. Because I'm a good person like that. Let that sink in for a second. You're not entering a relationship as an equal. You're entering it as someone who has already decided they're holding the power. You choose. They get chosen. That dynamic is baked in from day one. And here's where it gets really messy. When you're in a relationship with someone you're not genuinely into, you start judging them constantly. Why do they text like that? Why do they say things that way? Why do they always need this much attention? Everything starts to grate on you. Every little habit becomes evidence of why this isn't working. But you still don't leave. Why? It's not because you're afraid of losing them. It's because staying feels morally superior. There's a quiet satisfaction in seeing yourself as the compassionate one. The one who gave someone a chance even when you didn't have to. That story you tell yourself about being a good person. That's worth more to you in the moment than the truth. There's a concept in psychology called self-serving bias. Basically, it's our tendency to see ourselves in a more favorable light than reality actually supports. We take credit for our successes and deflect blame for our failures. What we're talking about today is that same bias, just taken to an extreme. You want to believe you are the generous one, the emotionally mature one, the one who protects people's feelings. But the truth? You're stealing their time. And that's not kindness. That's not generosity. That's something else entirely. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. The other person always finds out. Maybe not right away, but people are wired to detect authenticity. We pick up on it without even realizing it. The lukewarm responses. The affection that sounds rehearsed. The attention that feels like it's going through the motions. You can't fake genuine interest forever. And the moment they start to sense it, the damage begins. Not the clean, quick pain of rejection. Something much slower and more damaging. Because when someone figures out that the person they loved never really felt the same way, they don't just feel sad. They start to question themselves. Was I not interesting enough? Was I too much? Was there something wrong with me the whole time? That kind of wound goes deep. It chips away at how a person sees themselves. And it can follow them into every relationship after. Now, let's talk about the pattern itself. People who fall into this tend to share one specific trait. They struggle to identify what they actually feel. They confuse guilt with obligation. They confuse pity with affection. They don't always know where one ends and the other begins. And a lot of the time, this goes back to how they were raised. If you grew up in an environment where other people's emotions were always the priority, where keeping the peace mattered more than being honest about what you needed, you likely learned to manage everyone else's feelings before your own. That pattern follows you into adulthood, into your relationships, into moments exactly like this one. So let's be really clear about something. Staying with someone because they're a good person, because you feel sorry for them, because you think you owe them a chance, that is not kindness. It might be the cruelest option on the table. Here's why. Being rejected hurts, but rejection is survivable. It's temporary. A few weeks, a few months, and most people start to heal and move forward. But spending months inside a relationship, where someone's heart is only half there, that leaves a different kind of mark. One that's a lot harder to shake. Your ambiguity is not protecting them. It's quietly dismantling them. So now I want to ask you something directly. When you imagine saying no to someone who likes you, what's the first thing that scares you? Is it actually their pain? Or is it what other people will think of you? Is it what that person might say about you afterward? Because if we're being honest, a lot of the time it's the second one. We don't want to be seen as the bad guy. We don't want the social fallout. We don't want the awkward reputation. And that fear, that image management, that's not compassion. Real compassion takes courage. It means saying the hard thing clearly. Because that is what actually helps someone move forward. And yes, rejection stings. No one's pretending it doesn't. But that sting? It has a purpose. Rejection teaches people what they want. It pushes them towards someone who will actually choose them. Fully, genuinely, without hesitation. Inside a half-hearted relationship, none of that growth happens. They just stay stuck, waiting, hoping, reading into every small signal, and slowly losing confidence in themselves. If you actually care about someone, give them a clear answer. That's the real gift. So here's what today really comes down to. Staying with someone you don't like because they seem like a good person. Because you feel too guilty to say no, that's not being big-hearted. It's arrogance with a kind face. You're packaging yourself as the compassionate one. But underneath that, there's a quiet belief that you're simply better than them. That they should feel lucky to even be considered. Relationships don't work that way. They were never supposed to. Love isn't built on pity. It doesn't start with one person doing the other a favor. It starts with two people genuinely choosing each other, at the same level, with the same openness. A relationship without the courage to say no isn't a gift. It's a slow-moving wound. So if someone has shown interest in you and you know, honestly know, it's not there on your end, be straight with them. Yes, it might hurt in the moment. But that honesty, over time, it becomes one of the best things you could have given either of you. Because everyone deserves to be with someone who isn't just tolerating them. Everyone deserves to be someone's real choice. Not their charity case. Not their good deed for the day. So choose honesty. Choose clarity. Choose the kind of love that doesn't need to pretend. Because that's not just better for them. It's better for you, too. And in the end, the most loving thing you can do for someone is tell them the truth. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard.